recording. We're here to arrest a child sex offender. And you guys are out here honking.
Oh, they're not. No, we're press. We're not.
That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane.
A video that went viral on social media on Sunday has sparked fresh debate over interference in U.S. immigration enforcement after it appeared to show civilians disrupting an immigration and customs enforcement operation in Minnesota that was allegedly targeting a child sex offender. The footage, which was shared on X and garnered more than 750,000 views within hours, shows a tense confrontation between a federal ICE agent and several individuals in St. Paul. In the video, the agent accuses people in nearby vehicles of deliberately honking their horns to obstruct officers as they attempted to take a suspect into custody. "We're here to arrest a child sex offender and you guys are out here honking," the agent is heard saying. Someone off camera responds by claiming media credentials, saying, "No, we're press, we're not honking." The agent rejects the assertion and points toward a nearby car, stating that the vehicle was actively interfering with the operation. "That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigation while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender," he says, adding, "That's who you guys are protecting. Insane." The video then cuts to another moment showing the agent standing in snowy conditions next to a vehicle that repeatedly blares its horn. "Trust me, I understand," the agent tells the occupants, moments before the horn sounds again. In a separate exchange captured in the footage, the agent is seen speaking to people in a different vehicle who appear to question the legitimacy of the arrest and attempt to divert him away from the scene. A woman standing behind the agent's vehicle can be heard urging drivers to leave, saying, "Just go, they're lying, don't listen to them," while waving her hand. The video drew swift reactions from senior officials. Responding on X, Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin praised federal officers for continuing enforcement efforts despite growing resistance. "God bless the men and women of ICE and Customs and Border Protection who risked their lives to arrest these criminals," she wrote. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt also weighed in, posting, "God bless ICE," a message later amplified by the official White House X account. Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk reacted briefly, commenting, "Crazy." The incident comes against the backdrop of escalating tensions between federal immigration authorities and activist groups in Minnesota's Twin Cities region. Earlier this month, on January 7th, a 37-year-old woman identified as Renee Nicole Good was fatally shot by an immigration officer during an immigration operation. Authorities allege that she attempted to block the operation and drove her vehicle toward the officer, prompting the shooting. According to federal sources, immigration officers in the Twin Cities have increasingly faced harassment while carrying out their duties. Agents have reportedly been followed, verbally abused, and targeted with snowballs, while some agitators have used bullhorns to shout obscenities at close range. In certain confrontations, officers have deployed pepper spray and tear gas to disperse crowds. Amid these developments, President Donald Trump's administration is preparing for the possible deployment of 1,500 U.S. troops in Minnesota if unrest escalates further. A senior U.S. official confirmed the contingency planning to Fox News Digital, underscoring growing concern within the administration over the safety of federal personnel conducting immigration enforcement operations.
The Pentagon is preparing for a dramatic escalation, and the U.S. troops are battle-ready inside their own country. A report claims that more than 1,000 U.S. troops will now enter the U.S. city of Minneapolis. This as the Trump administration and ICE federal agents are facing a tough situation in the blue state over deadly immigration crackdown. About 1,500 active-duty U.S. soldiers have been placed on prepare-to-deploy orders amid growing unrest in Minnesota, according to the Washington Post. U.S. defense officials say the move is precautionary, triggered by fears that protests against the government's deportation drive could spiral into wider violence. The troops are not yet deployed, and officials stress it remains unclear whether they will be sent at all. The Pentagon and the White House have so far declined to comment on the report. Tensions are running high in Minneapolis after an immigration and customs enforcement agent shot and killed 37-year-old U.S. mom Renee Good on January 7th. Protests have surged across the state, with demonstrators targeting immigration enforcement operations. President Donald Trump has now issued a stark warning. In a post on Truth Social, Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act if Minnesota officials failed to stop what he called professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking ICE agents. Trump accused state leaders of ignoring the law and vowed to deploy federal force if the situation worsens.
The trigger for the Insurrection Act in Minnesota, what are you waiting for?
Well, the Insurrection Act, which has been used by 48% of the presidents as of this moment, the Insurrection Act also, if you look at it, I believe it was Bush, the elder Bush, he used it, I think, 28 times. It's been used a lot. And if I needed it, I'd use it. I don't think there's any reason right now to use it, but if I needed it, I'd use it. It's very powerful.
The soldiers placed on alert belong to 2 U.S. Army infantry battalions under the 11th Airborne Division, based in Alaska. The Insurrection Act is a rarely used federal law that allows a president to deploy active-duty military forces or federalize National Guard units to suppress domestic unrest. It can be invoked when unlawful obstructions or rebellion are deemed to threaten federal authority. If activated, the president can order the military to enforce laws or quell what is defined as an uprising.
Do you have any plans to pull out of Minnesota?
No plans to pull out of Minnesota.
How would you describe what you were seeing on the ground there? Would you describe it as an insurrection, and do you believe the president should invoke the Insurrection Act?
I describe it as violent and a violation of the law in many places. I discussed with the president this morning several things that we are dealing with under the department and different operations. We did discuss the Insurrection Act. He certainly has the constitutional authority to utilize that. My hope is that this leadership team in Minnesota will start to work with us to get criminals off the streets. Remember, we are there in surged operations because of the largest fraud scheme in American history. We had people stealing from taxpayers, stealing funds away from the most vulnerable individuals in this country, people who needed mental health services, developmental services, autism, daycare. Instead, individuals came in, much from the Somalian community, and stole dollars from those people who needed it and put it in their own pockets and enriched themselves. Did it right under Governor Walz's nose, and we believe that he didn't just know about it, that he may be complicit in it as well.
Thank you,
Secretary. Do you believe there are any cases in Minnesota where the ICE agents have gone too far?
Our ICE agents are following the law and running their operations according to training. Last night what we saw was 3 individuals weaponize shovels and brooms and attack an ICE officer that had to defend himself. So we're hopeful that we don't see that again, that we as protesters and violent rioters will be held accountable for the actions that they're taking, and that our officers can do their work safely.
What about that officer?
President Trump is so strong at taking action and making sure he's in every single state following through on his commitments to every single citizen.
Did the president say what his final straw would be to invoke the Insurrection Act if he did?
No, this president uses all the information and intelligence that he can get. That's why he calls me, he calls Pete, he calls local law enforcement. He talks to those individuals and agents as well that are involved, that he knows well. This president makes fully informed decisions and utilizes his authorities when it's appropriate.
Secretary Noem, are you okay with federal agents and officers violating people's Fourth Amendment rights by asking for papers without reasonable suspicion?
Every single action that our ICE officers take is according to the law and following protocols that we have used for years, that this administration has used, that the previous administration used. They are doing everything correctly, and over again in litigation in the courts, we've proven that they've done the right thing.
Why is it within their right to do that? Why is it within their right to ask for papers without reasonable suspicion?
With the president,
Okay. I think it's important.
You say you discussed the Insurrection Act with the president. Did you recommend that?
No, we just discussed it, that it was one of the options that he had constitutionally, and We talked about the fact that we're going to continue our operations in Minneapolis and have the resources that we need to get the job done.
Do you think politely invoked?
Yes.
Do you think that there needs to be an Insurrection Act invoked?
Oh, I think that the president has that opportunity in the future. It's his constitutional right, and it's up to him if he wants
Do
to
you think
utilize
he's likely to do it?
I don't know.
But
Could
if he
ask
does
him.
do
Yes.
it, will it lead to more deadly killings in Minnesota if the Insurrection Act is invoked?
If anything doesn't change with Governor Walz, I don't anticipate that the streets will get any safer or more peaceful. Governor Walz and his leadership team need to come to us and find out how we can work together like we have in many other states. We didn't see this kind of reaction in Louisiana.
For now, Minnesota remains on edge, and the nation watches closely as the line between protest and military intervention draws nearer.